And they assume that I'm saying just avoid people who've had bad luck or who are victims. And that's not at all what I wrote. And you have to read the chapter to understand. But the idea is sometimes people enter your life and they're all dramatic and they're very charismatic and they have all these stories to tell. And usually the stories are about how somebody did something terrible to them. They're the victim, right? There's all this drama surrounding their lives. And it seems kind of interesting, and you become their friend, right? And slowly, slowly, you get embroiled in all of their drama. They have arguments with you, they turn against you, then they reconcile. And you find yourself getting infected with their ugly energy, and down and down and down you go. It's counterintuitive to think that somebody who's super dramatic is actually masking, they're creating the drama that is surrounding them. We don't think that way, and I'm trying to show that you have to be a little bit wary about people. You can't just take them at face value.
Well, you're
shaking your head like you've had that experience.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean,
Okay.
not
Or
only have
nodding
I
your
had
head.
the experience, there's a lot of data that supports it, right? There's data now that shows, I saw a study done on 1,000 companies where if you sit within a 25 square foot radius of somebody who's considered a high performer, you're 15% more likely
Sure.
to outperform. And if you sit next to a low performer, you are 30% more likely to underperform.
Yeah.
And so, there's actually even just a more aggressive downside to those who are negative or infectious
Yeah.
in that way.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, when you start researching this, where is the data the most important, and where is history most important? Because in all of your works, it seems like there's an interweaving of the two. There's a throwback to Churchill and a story about World War II. And then there's also the scientific data that we cover about findings and studies that show
Right.
the reality.
Well, back when I wrote the 48 Laws of Power, there wasn't really the internet. And the studies about power, if you can do studies about power and have data, there weren't very many of them, right? So I had to go through a pretty intensive research process, hundreds of books, reading all about the most famous people, like a Kissinger. And that was my form of data.